the moment our fellow geeks, dweebs, nerds, and other unfortunates have been fervently waiting for has finally arrived. It's time for TMI, Confessionals of the Nerd Kind. And now, your hosts, Jeff Nerf Herder Chandler and Jim Kaiju Baker. And now, let's get on with the show. Here is TMI.
So, welcome back, everyone, to our regularly scheduled programming.
Take two. It is a word that does not roll off the tongue.
No, easier to read than it is to say.
Regularly, indeed. It's our episode. It's not the 0.5s. People seem to be enjoying those 0.5s.
People forget that we've covered these movies because they're kind of buried on the back end.
Yeah, we do get people going, can you talk about this movie? Like, yeah, we did like 3 years ago. It is interesting going back and listening to that stuff. The American Werewolf in London that just dropped. A lot of crickets. I forgot we were inundated. We were out in the woods that day.
That was high concept. Yeah.
It was slightly overproduced. But
yeah, we've gotten lazy since
whatever. Listen, it's fun. What was the episode where we went to the haunted house?
Night of the Living Dead. That'll be a 0.5 one of these days.
We'll get there. You're right, though. Pull those out from some of these other lesser known lead-in movies that nobody even remembers or talks about. Even now, no one's listening to our Superman or Fantastic Four episode.
And I'm questioning who's going to listen to Toxic Avenger. Maybe I should just do CHUD and scrap the rest. But that's what we're here for.
We had a CHUD call out in Toxic Avenger.
Yes,
so
we did.
I'm going to pat myself on the back for that pairing. But I think this movie needs to have somebody champion it.
The Toxic Avenger?
Yes, correct.
What do we know? What box office it's doing? Is it a
no? Because here's the thing. I mean, I saw it Labor Day weekend. There was 2 showings at my Regal on Sunday, like a 5 o'clock and an 8 o'clock, and then there was 1 showing on Monday at 5 o'clock, and that's it. It's gone. It is super limited release.
This does seem to have streaming written all over it. I'm actually surprised that it got a theatrical release because it was finished back in 2023.
It's been sitting in the can for a while.
Yeah.
And we'll talk about it because I think they are out there promoting it, but not in the regular sense. But maybe that's because it's such a niche. You know, if you grew up on these Troma films, although even some of those people are not too happy with this movie.
Yeah, and if you listen to Peter Dinklage talk about it, he's like, this is not a remake. And it's not, really. It's 2 different animals. I
do want to ask you that because those movies were always like, it's 9:55, Blockbuster's about to close and all the new releases are taking. What am I going to rent? Oh, here's a schlocky movie, Sergeant Kabuki. Okay, all right, we'll watch this. And then you regret your $1.99.
Toxic Avenger is one of those that, made the HBO round. So I taped it off VHS, off HBO one night, watched it a few times. It wasn't my favorite, but, it was schlocky enough that it tickled my teenage fancies. Had a little skin, had a lot of gore. Just what the doctor ordered back in 1984, 1985, whenever I saw it for the first time.
Yeah, you were prime audience for that.
Yeah, and
schlock and giddy.
Being a comic book teen as well, you didn't have a lot of comic book movies. Not that this was, but it was a superhero movie.
Yes.
So it's close. Is one
and
of the closest
not in the traditional
things
sense,
you could
but
get. Yeah.
He was out avenging. I mop and I avenge things. So yeah, Toxic Avenger, and then you just mentioned it, 1984, same year, CHUD.
Yes, as a matter of fact.
Cannibalistic humanoid underground dwellers.
Although, and I'd forgotten this, CHUD actually stands for something else.
Yeah.
Which is even worse. According to the government, I would think that the first one would be worse. The cannibalistic humanoid underground dwellers.
It pretty much tells you exactly what you're getting in this movie. Yeah. And I'm going to say that I have not seen this movie in a very, very long time. So it was like watching it for the first time again.
Right.
And I was very excited coming off watching the Toxic Avenger. I'm like, all right, I'm on board. We're getting into the scary season.
And Chud, again, HBO movie. So, and that was a big VHS rental. It's because just the word chud.
Sure. Well,
it's like schlock, chud. Yeah. You're not getting something highbrow here.
Right, correct. Well, think of the cover art for the poster and the VHS tape as well. It's just some weird glowy-eyed creature hands coming out of a sewer.
Of course, for any movie worth its salt, both of these movies, Joe Bob has covered on the Last Drive-In.
Okay.
And I reviewed his commentary before this episode for Chud, just so I could get any tidbits that he might have had. And he's very aptly, he did point out, Chud almost sounds like an insult. Like, you're such a chud,
Chud. Get out of my way, chud.
One letter off from cud, cow chewing on his cud. Right. So it's not a pleasant visual that you get.
No. Do you think they came up with the acronym first or the name?
The acronym first. According to the stories, the acronym first. They had to actually work their way back into what it stood for.
Well, I will tell you, it rolls off the tongue. Cannibalistic humanoid underground dwellers. If you put me on Jeopardy 5 years ago and that came up, it would just roll off my tongue.
Yeah.
So let's do one news item, unless you have anything else, and then we'll get into the Toxic Avenger.
All right.
Unrated, by the way. Toxic Avenger unrated.
Which is in its title. So
yeah,
they make damn well sure that it's unrated.
Some people don't think it was unrated enough. So anyways, let's do news. We are getting into the spooky season. I'm going to tell you right now, people are already putting out pumpkins. They're putting out Halloween decorations. Home Depot is already selling all. It's the beginning of September.
I saw Halloween decorations as early as July in Michael's and in, the Marshalls, TJ Maxx.
Well, you think about like those giant skeletons, how quickly they sold out at Home Depot. So
the ones that are like 2 stories tall.
Yeah, correct. That people just keep up year round now and just put rabbit ears on them for Easter.
I would love to just get one of those as a prank for my son and just put it outside his window so it was looking in.
That is some messed up crap right there. You wake up in the morning. Dude. Yeah. Good luck with those therapy pills. And then you're laughing. So anyways, so it looks like we're going to have a fair amount of these Halloween slasher creepy movies coming up the next couple months. And so AMC is leaning into this and they're offering a slash pass. And for, I think it's $66.66 will allow you to see up to 6 participating horror movies from now until the end of the year.
Only those movies.
So, yeah, there seems to be a lot of them, though, because you've got Conjuring Last Rites, The Long Walk, Him, Strangers Chapter 2, Five Nights at Freddy's 2. And then it looks like they have something else coming out in October called Thrills and Chills, and they're re-releasing A Nightmare on Elm Street, Friday the 13th, Candyman, Scream, and Terrifier.
Mm-hmm.
But only 6. So that basically comes down to $11.11 a movie ticket. This is AMC. So I guess if you're a horror fan and you don't want to get those yearly passes or like the Regal Unlimited, you just buy this for $66 and then you just go see 6 movies, any 6 movies you want. I don't know. $11.11 doesn't sound like it's that cheap, but I looked and I guess the average price for a ticket now is $16.
I only go during the matinee, so I don't know.
So the matinee is always slightly cheaper.
It is. So I would probably be, shocked into silence if I went ever at night and found out how much it was.
Yeah. Well, like I say, I don't even pay attention anymore because I just pay my $26 a month. If I see 2 movies, it's worth it for me. But the Regal, I don't know. It doesn't sound. I like the fact that these theaters are trying to get people back in. I can't tell you how many times I've stumbled, whether it's on Threads, and I'm sure you probably see that even on Blue Sky, where people are like, I don't even know why people go to the theaters anymore. I'll just stay home. I don't need to watch this. All these commercials. Well, that's, I'm not going to pay $25 for a bucket of popcorn. Like, were you paying $25 for a bucket of popcorn? I thought it was interesting. If you're a horror fan out there and you're going to see, my guess is that some people will probably only see 4 out of the 6 and still think they got their money's worth. Give them some collectible gift card or something that goes with it. The AMC exclusive Slash Pass. So I like it.
Yeah, there is something to be said about a horror movie with a full audience.
Sure.
You know?
Like-minded people, so maybe they do the same thing. They do romantic comedies or whatever, or maybe they could do sci-fi. So that's it. That was my news. I just thought it was interesting. Let it out there if anybody wants to go and get a Slash Pass.
Toxic Avenger. We already set up that this is a remake, even though Mr. Dinklage doesn't agree, of the 1984 original. Probably not one of the most famous Troma release. The most successful Troma release, the most well-known Troma release. Sure. Various sequels were spun off.
I think I got like 3 sequels. There was
a cartoon series.
Yeah. What was that? Toxic
Buddies or Toxic something. I don't know what it was.
Avengers Assemble.
But that was, like in the early 90s. And there was a toy line off of that cartoon.
Well, not only that, Marvel had a comic series.
Oh, did they? I didn't know that.
I did. Yeah. Oh, Toxic Crusaders.
1990.
Okay. So that was 6 years after the movie dropped. 3 sequels.
So there's a big cultural footprint that was left by the Toxic Avenger.
There was a musical stage production, which I kind of wish I'd seen.
And, tying both these movies together, are both features. Apparently, Daniel Stern was working on a Chud musical. I don't know if he still is, but he was pushing for it.
I had no clue that Chud was going to be a Home Alone reunion.
Yeah. Well, not really, because those guys never even interact in the Home Alone movies.
That is true.
If you think about it, yeah.
So the Toxic Avenger unrated. You mentioned the fact this movie was talked about. We probably talked about it back in the day. Has been filmed and then shelved. It's been sitting there for 2+ years. Do we know why they couldn't get any kind of distribution?
I'm reading an article right now because I'm just pulling some research material, so I have it right at hand. And there's an article from last year that, according to the directors being interviewed here, who is Macon Blair, and he was having trouble getting a distributor. The reason being is that he reached out to a producer who informed him that the film is unreleasable and the commercial prospects are too out there for theatrical release. And if it did get a pickup from a distributor, it would go straight to VOD or streaming. Now, this is what he was told. Obviously, he was able to turn that around.
I don't know what the budget was on this.
I couldn't find that either. Now, I'm looking at Box Office Mojo. It's not doing bad, actually. It did open low.
But then I think that a lot of that is due to the fact that it's hard. They're not doing a wide release.
No, and at this moment, we are recording this about a week and a half after it opened. It's just under $3 million box office. So I know that the budget can't be much more than that, if it is more than that.
Right.
So probably doing its fair share until it hits streaming, and it'll make even more.
I hope so. Because movies, I'm just going to say this, whether you walk away going, this was a complete and utter waste of my time, or I enjoyed it. I would like to see more movies like this out there, just taking chances. And to this producer that told Macon to hide this away.
Unreleasable. Which is we've seen a lot of movies that are in fact unreleasable. And
there's a lot of them on Prime right now.
Yeah, I wouldn't categorize this in with them, with that motley crew.
Yeah, no. But let's talk a little bit. I don't know if you know anything about this, because they made a decision, Cineverse and Bloody Disgusting made a decision to not invest any more money in promoting this. We know, sometimes the promotional budget for these movies is more than the actual production budget. And maybe this is why a lot of people don't know it's out there. But I think that this is worth talking about because they paired up with this nonprofit group called Undue Medical Debt. If you see this movie and we talk about this movie, the main plot point is that the character finds out he has it's operable brain cancer, but his insurance company won't cover it. And so this leads to all kinds of wacky mayhem. But this nonprofit group, Undue Medical Debt, actually literally erases medical debt for real people. And so they're already in. They've donated $5 million of their production or their advertising budget to this cause. But every time this movie makes $1 million, they donate another $1 million. And I wish more people knew about this because this is a very noble effort. It is a true crime that people are literally going into debt and losing their homes over medical debt. I'm going to tell you right now, I have been championing this movie to anybody that will listen to me. And when I mentioned this, because they're like, oh, I didn't even know it was out. I'm like, well, that's why they're not putting money into advertising. They're not flooding the market. Hey, remember this movie we talked about 5 years ago? Yeah, it's now out, which makes you think if they promoted it more people would go to see it, and then they'd make more money to donate to this cause. So it's like an odd cyclical problem that they have there.
And the movie itself, the plot has more lofty goals as well than the original Toxic Avenger, because in the original it was just some sad sack, a janitor in a health club, I believe, that gets dumped into just a random barrel of toxic waste. It's not even a plot point, really, what the toxic waste is doing there, other than just like general corruption in the city. Right. Here, that's what the plot is about. Kevin Bacon is the evil head of the pharmaceutical, because he is in with the mob at the same time. He
owes the mob money. You're right. So this company he has is called BTH. It's Body Talk Health. But apparently they're doing some very nefarious stuff. Can we just talk about what a renaissance Kevin Bacon is having playing these bad guys?
And just kudos to him for being in this movie in the first place.
But I think he's having fun with it.
He is. He elevates it. I think he's savvy enough to know that, if there's something that he likes, that he'll have fun with, that, okay, maybe if I'm in this, it'll elevate it. And I think he does. He does elevate the material.
Well, it's funny because he is hamming it up. On the outside, this looks, like you said, this is a superhero. This is a very cartoon-based movie. This guy literally mutates into a Toxic Avenger. But Peter Dinklage plays this so straight where everything else around him is kind of wonky. I mean, look at Elijah Wood. Elijah Wood shows up.
I thought he was playing the Penguin.
I kept waiting for him to break out in the time warp. I'm like, that's riffraff. But he just looks so like he's so buried in that makeup. So right off the bat, this movie has come out of nowhere. It's just dropped. We had talked about it. We scrambled. I was able to see it. But again, it's probably very limited. I had 4 other people in my screening on Labor Day, Monday.
And so I went in the middle of the week, and it was about that as well. I went on a Wednesday, first showing of the day.
Yeah, there were 2 couples sitting side by side. Me, I was all by myself. So like, let's see how this goes. But I'm going to tell you right now, the opening montage with Winston, so Peter Dinklage's character, Winston, right from the beginning, boom, you get exactly the flavor, and it sets the tone for what this movie. It's a montage. You start getting all these clips of him as the monster, and he's like, whoa, wait a minute. Let's back up. It started a week ago or whatever.
But not just any montage. It's like shots of gore that are coming up later in the movie. And they're really quick cuts. You're like, oh. And then he's like, wait, hold on. And then,
But the bright colors, the graphics, his head, his neon head or whatever. Yeah. So this, to me, this right here is like, this sets the tone. Okay. So I think, I want to say, just based on what we've already talked about, everybody involved in this movie knew what the assignment was. They knew that this, not that they went home and watched the Toxic Avenger, but because those Troma films are so, like you mentioned, schlock, they're like Roger Corman films. They're down and dirty. They're silly concepts, Class of Nukem High. Some of those.
I think actually, like, Roger Corman is like comparatively
Oh, he's a little highbrow.
Orson Welles compared
He's a
to
little
Troma.
highbrow.
Yeah.
Yeah. But there's an audience for that stuff. There's a whole generation of people who grew up on those things. And like you said, this made 3 sequels, had a cartoon series. I had a Marvel comic series. So there's a market for this stuff. I did see that Kevin Smith was involved at one point, but the studio had talked to him about making this kind of like a Marvel Universe type of thing where they bring back some of these other characters, and he wanted nothing to do with that. I saw Schwarzenegger's name was attached at one point.
As a matter of fact, yeah. And that was back when, in 2010, when they first came up with the idea of remaking it, they were aiming for a PG-13, family friendly. Yeah. I guess more in line with the Crusaders, the cartoon.
I'm glad they didn't. Although, again, as we mentioned, there are diehards who don't think this went far enough.
I think they went quite far, personally. You're getting into like pornography territory if you don't think it went far enough.
Yeah, there is a scene where they actually refer to it as the butt gut, where he punches a guy in the a-hole and pulls out his intestines.
Yeah.
There is a lot of eviscerations. There's a lot of decapitations. Half decapitations, only half his head. But it's all played as... I'm going to tell you right now, dude, I have not laughed this much in a movie theater in a very long time.
Really?
I was completely on board with this. I loved it from beginning to end. I was tickled pink. I don't know what I was expecting. There are so many jokes getting thrown at you. There's this running gag of the news reporters on like a Channel 5 news that keeps just playing. And the chyron across the bottom's got all these little in-jokes running, and you can't even pick up on them. Even like the titles, the titled cards that keep coming up. It's like, ye scary yonder woods. Like,
and yeah, the title cards come and go really fast, so you can hardly read it.
I want to see this again because there's so many jokes that there's a lot of references to the other Troma movies. This is set in St. Roma Village or St. Roma. But the S's...
Yeah, none of this is subtle, by the way.
No, but like I said, everyone involved knew the assignment.
Yep.
Peter Dinklage is playing this so straight. Like there's a scene where he's on the phone with his insurance company he just finds out he has brain cancer, and he's just trying to find out if he's covered. And I can't even remember if you hear the conversation on the other end of it.
You do.
But it's fantastic. And it's just he's just a ball of energy. He doesn't know what to do. He's a sad sack stepdad who lost the wife, and now he's stuck. He's
a widowed stepdad. Yeah. So now he's got her son. Kid
who, probably when they were 6 or 7, he was fun. And now the kid's like this awkward teenager, and he doesn't want anything to do with this. He won't even call him dad. And the kid, he's played by Jacob Tremblay, who I'm very glad to see survived Dr. Sleep, because he was the poor kid, the baseball kid that got stabbed in Dr. Sleep. No. He also voiced Luca in the Pixar movie. So Winston Goose is his name. Is his character's name, Peter? Is Dinklage, yeah. Toxic Avenger. And then his son is Wade. So you already got too many W's going. So so there's that through line. He is a janitor in Kevin Bacon's BTH company. Right. So he does share a little bit of DNA with Melvin from the first movie. It's interesting because the character that's looking to whistleblow on the company that gets killed right in the beginning, his name is Melvin, the same as the original Toxic Avenger. And this girl, JJ, is working with him, and she stole some kind of a hard drive. But even then, we're introduced to this group called the Killer Nuts, who are like this punk band that also just happen to be killers for hire. And they border on, they look like they came right out of, one of these Borderland video games. One guy, giant guy's running around with a rubber chicken head. The first Toxic Avenger movie does concern itself with political corruption in a way, because by the end of it, the Toxic Avenger is taking on the mayor of the corrupt city.
But really, his immediate goal was just to get revenge on the bullies in the health club that dumped him into the toxic waste. And just as a side note, he becomes a superhero. And that's what this agenda is in the movie, to really right wrongs. And not only does Peter Dinklage as Winston have that scene on the phone with the insurance company, then he goes and begs Kevin Bacon in person. It's excruciating, this scene.
This is where you feel for this character because, right, his life's already been ripped out from underneath him. He's trying his best to raise this kid. I can't imagine that, he's making a lot of money as a janitor. And then, he goes to Chud Haven, this high-end country club where all the bigwigs are having dinner. Where did he get that tiny jacket, by the way? Yeah, he goes to confront Kevin Bacon's character. He's like, I'll take care of you. Why don't you go with my associate over here? She'll take care of everything. And they usher him out the back door.
Yep, and he's in the alley, and he's locked out of the building. His last hope is to rob some money, which he tries to take from BTH. Yeah. And this is where it all goes sideways.
Yeah, but you feel for this character.
So when he goes to steal the money from BTH, he crosses paths with this girl we see in the beginning who's trying to expose BTH. So she was taking some toxic sludge that she could bring to the authorities. He just wants the money. The Wild Nuts, or whatever they were called, the band, the Killer Nuts, they show up. She escapes, but they take him and they drop him in the toxic vat. Yeah. So hence he becomes the Toxic Avenger.
This is like a fun animated, again, the montage. It reminded me of when Don Knotts becomes the fish in Mr. Limpet. Yeah, Winston no more.
He is now the Toxic Avenger, and he has an acid mop. So because he had dipped the mop in the chemicals, so now it's like a permanent lightsaber with toxic
I don't remember.
Chemicals.
Is this a new, or did his mop always have some kind of?
No, well, he had the mop as a weapon, but it didn't have. He just shoved it down people's throats. Okay, but it was a regular mop in the original.
Right. So this is more. Yeah, you're right. This is like Witchy Poo's broom. All gooey green.
At the very beginning, when he changes, he's on the street after he leaves the factory, and the mob starts to chase him because it's, a classic, the mob chases Monster. Frankenstein scene.
Yeah.
It's like, look at him. He's hunched over and bow-legged. That's how a pervert runs.
Takes one to know one.
Because he can't do anything as Winston. So now he has the power. So with great power, and they actually joke about that. If somebody starts to say it, the guy in the woods, the homeless guy that he comes across.
Oh, the hobo.
Yeah.
That's another great thing. I was a doctor. And then later they have to do surgery on JJ. He goes, who told you I was a doctor? You did. It's so stupid.
There's that interlude with the homeless guy in the woods after the mob chases him, and then he wakes up and it's like a safe haven, and this guy has a little campsite. And then you see him like, great powers and whatnot, and he's trying to give him a pep talk, right? After he leaves, he comes upon a fast food joint, which is in the process of being robbed. And now this is, again, where they break away from the original, because in the first movie, he does the same thing. He saves a fast food joint from being robbed, but he also saves a blind girl from being assaulted, and that girl becomes his girlfriend. Now, there is a blind woman in the fast food restaurant, but you don't see her again. But he takes out egregiously these robbers in the fast food place. And just like in the first movie, the news shows up. They think he's the bad guy. Like, no, that guy saved us. And now he's a hero.
Now he's a hero.
Yeah.
See, here's the thing, which is I was going to ask you, because I have no connection to the original. I haven't seen it in years. I didn't know what was new, if they were literally, cribbing it from beginning to end, or if this is all taking a detour. So I'm not comparing. I'm judging it based on its merits, just all by itself.
Yeah, and I would go along with Dinklage. And if you're looking for a by numbers remake, that's not what this is.
But I don't know why people want that. Listen, we tried that with Psycho.
Yeah.
Why? Why would you? Just because you can doesn't mean you should.
Yeah.
Look what I can do. I can match his camera angles.
So from this point on, the movie almost starts to mirror Swamp Thing.
That's so funny you mentioned that, because at the end, when Kevin Bacon's character mutates into what I can only say is like the creature in Time Bandits.
Yeah, with a bad back.
Yeah, it just takes on that Swamp Thing.
Oh,
motif.
imagine that if when Kevin Bacon started to change, he suddenly had a trash bag over him, just like in Swamp
Right,
Thing.
sure, yeah,
I would love that.
yeah. You're right though. The Swamp Thing, it is there.
Because Bacon now is seeing this guy on the news saying, "Can you recreate the mutation?" to his lab people.
Yeah, so he owes the mob so much money, and all he wants to do is they need a new product. So how do they figure out? Because I think what they land on is that this has made him well endowed. That's why they're siphoning. They try to get his blood.
It adds girth in general,
But we
I think
never,
is what they
we
said.
don't, but it's never been explained. Like, how do they know that?
He's bulked out. So
yeah, but usually, okay. So most of the guys who work out endlessly, they take creatine and all this other crap, and if anything, it makes their wee-wees smaller.
well, maybe they've got test animals that they've nicknamed Milton Berle. So
they never explain it, but it doesn't matter. He's got to capture this guy now so he can take blood samples, a lot of blood samples, by the way, to recreate this formula.
And not only that, but now Wade, his son, finds out that he is the Toxic Avenger, and now he's got respect. Now they start to bond throughout the second half of the movie.
So I want to bring this up because this is one of my favorite scenes, and it's such a throwaway. But again, so Wade and JJ, it's just the two of them at a table. This is after Wade has found out that this monster running around avenging people is his stepdad. And they're commiserating because he understands that his dad's dying. We don't realize yet that this mutation has somehow saved him. But they're commiserating, and she talks about the fact that she lost her mom to cancer, and that's why she's after Kevin Bacon's company, because they caused it. Because they're releasing these toxic chemicals into the water. But she also mentioned, she goes, and not to mention my sister. He goes, oh, did she also die of cancer? Zamboni. She was a hell of a skater. And it's just played completely flat, completely nobody.
And then he says, oh, my mom too. And she goes, Zamboni? No.
Zamboni? No. And it's just one of my favorite scenes because I'm just like, it's so out there. It's just
another great, my favorite scene.
Okay.
Is because throughout the movie, Toxie, as we can call him, takes out, the killer nuts. He takes out mob guys. He's taking out Kevin Bacon's guys. So he's killing lots of people.
Yep.
At one point, he had mob guys, and he killed one of them, and he's trying to get the other one to come around a corner by propping up the dead one as a puppet.
Hey, come here.
It's like a Weekend at Bernie's thing.
Yes.
Come here. Hey, come here.
How is that little guy holding that up? But yeah, the guy keeps flopping over the corner. He's like, hey, come here for a minute. What do you want? No, come here. I got to show you something. No, really, come here. So you talk about him taking out the killer nuts. So they're a real band, are up on stage at this festival. And he just comes marching up and just mops the floor with them. I mean, yeah, like you said, this is the gore over the top.
Yeah.
This is the butt gut scene. This is the people getting split in half. The tops of their heads are getting
because this is the equivalent. This is what you want to see, though, because this is the equivalent of him getting his revenge on the bullies in the first movie. Because these are the guys that dropped him in the vat.
Yeah. And I was thrilled to learn that Phil Tippett's studio did most of the special effects for this. So for the most part, it is all practical. And then it's just augmented with some CG, obviously the blood squirts and stuff like that.
Right.
So
my favorite kill, though, in this scene is when he grabs the beard. He's like, eat your beard.
Rips the beard off the guy's face.
And he makes him eat it. He makes him eat it.
But again, it's so over the top that you're not like, I don't like gore. To me, this was funny because it is therapeutic in the sense that these guys are getting their comeuppance. And then the big tall guy with the chicken head, they ripped the rubber chicken head off, and it's just a little baby head. And clearly it's just a little animatronic baby head. And
they're asking him, where's my, because at this point, the kid has been kidnapped by Kevin Bacon. Where's my son?
So that guy was Spencer Wilding. He played Darth Vader in Rogue One.
Oh, really?
Yeah. I don't think that was his baby head. But,
that would be great if you take off Darth Vader's helmet.
There's a little baby head. Oh, look at him. He's a little baby. But you're right. I'm mutating into that weird guy. It's a Swamp Thing. Yeah. And they get this epic battle at the end.
They have to go to BTH to get his son back. And they get caught when they first get there. And he wakes up and he's in chains and he's got acidic urine.
Yeah, so there is a scene earlier where he realizes that. So he says the only way he can break free is to actually pee on his shackles.
And then
he's got to pee on hers.
And he's got what only can be described as a Willem Dafoe down his pants. I think I got the aim down after he frees himself from the shackles.
Yeah. She's like, I'm good. Thanks. No.
So now he's escaped. And at the same time, Kevin Bacon has now ingested the toxic chemical to change himself, as we mentioned before. Now, I would have liked him to stay mid-change because at first he looks like Bill Bixby in the middle of his Hulk transformation.
Yeah, sure.
Just with sharp teeth, pants, right?
Yeah. And then he goes like horns and everything.
Then he goes on full-on goat, just as we said, looks just like the guy from Time Bandits with the underbite and everything with the fangs coming out. So now it's got to be monster versus monster at the end of the movie. War of the Gargantuous.
He throws Kevin Bacon into the hood of the car and he gets stuck in the engine.
He impales him with a toxic mop.
Yep.
Carries him overhead. Head first into the engine of the car. She starts the car and he starts to spin like in a blender in the engine of the car.
I don't think that's how engines work, but
I don't think so either, but I'll take it.
It was a fun visual.
And before he vanquishes Kevin Bacon, they have like a monologue back and forth where the Toxic Avenger says, I lost everything. And Kevin Bacon says, I also like to scream everything. At the end, we think that the kid has been blown up because he's been taken prisoner
he was in the shed.
Shack,
you're right. He was in the shed. And the
which
shed
blows up. But he escaped previous to the shed blowing up. So it's a happy ending. Yeah, Elijah Wood, the Penguin.
Yeah.
He sees the error of his ways and he helps Toxie at the end.
Well, you find out he's Kevin Bacon's brother.
Yeah.
And he's just abusing him.
Toxie actually isn't going to kill Kevin Bacon at the end because the kid comes out, he wasn't blown up and the kid's like, you're not going to kill anybody else, Dad, are correct. You? No, I'm not going to kill him.
Did you? And he just like,
I only did it in self-defense. But of course, you have to have that Gary Busey Lethal Weapon moment where he tries to jump at Toxic Avenger one more time. And that's when he gets impaled into the engine. And then right after that happens, you called me Dad. And
he's a hero.
He's a hero. Now, it doesn't quite end on a happy note because the assistant who's been making these terrible calls throughout, and she's the one that sent Peter Dinklage into the alley when he asked for help, she survives. She has taken the toxic goo herself, so that's setting it up for a sequel with her, right. I can only assume. And then we get reintroduced to the blind woman who I said before was his girlfriend in the first movie. But no, she was a government agent this whole time, keeping tabs on BTH. Like, we've been chasing them forever. You just did our job for us. To kill them egregiously? That was your job?
Killing them, right.
Yeah.
Now we have no one to prosecute.
Yeah. And you get, some cooking tips if you stay after the credits.
Yeah, apparently... Megan, the director, said that he wanted this to be really kind of anticlimactic. No setup for a sequel or anything like that. No big cliffhanger.
Well, they did though. They had the woman wake up in the hospital.
I know, but sometimes, right? You could have driven that home maybe a little bit more. She could be setting up her own super group to go after him.
Just like at the end of Shang-Chi, which has not yet paid off.
No, not at all. Still waiting. They're still training.
I guess so.
Nothing. You can't be ninjas in a day. So anyways, yeah. So this end credit, you sit through the whole end credit, which are fun, by the way, the end credits.
Yeah, because the kid has been trying to join a talent show at high school throughout the movie, and he keeps chickening out. And I guess the whole time it was a dance number to ABC's The Look of Love. So you see that dance number at the end.
And it's very cringeworthy. And then all of a sudden the crowd is into it and he gets a standing ovation. Yeah, kind of wacky. But then this scene, just Winston at home making a grilled cheese. It's almost like he's got a YouTube channel now and he's talking to the camera, explaining how he makes his grilled cheese. I will back him up on the adding mayonnaise.
Yes.
is a fantastic
Yes,
little
we do that
trick.
at home. We do
Yep.
that at home. Yes.
Yeah, a little mayonnaise on the outside. Bread the butter first. Don't bread the
Mhm.
pan. I was a little concerned that he was using a metal spatula in a pan, but other than that, he made himself grilled cheese
Mhm.
for him and Wade, and he described exactly what he was doing, and then they ate it. And that was it.
And that was it. They eat it for a couple minutes before they go
Yeah,
to
no, it's
black.
like just silence. You're just
Yeah.
like, really? That's it? That's what I sat there for.
And then you get
Um,
the last shot, the parting shot is a legend on screen. Sequel provisional on $1 billion in box
yeah.
office.
And then they list like all the titles of the potential. So it's silly. I mean, again, there's so many little rat-a-tat jokes, visual jokes. Like I said, the newscast stuff comes and goes, and it's hard to even keep up with that stuff.
Yeah. And like you said, even the title cards come and go really fast.
Yeah,
And
they're funny. They're
Yeah.
funny. Like I said, I laughed out loud. The four people in my theater were right there with me. They were guffawing. I might have been laughing a little bit louder than them. I also decided to have an Arizona iced tea with my screening. And those cans they sell are like 24 ounces. They're monsters.
Did you have to leave?
No, I did not. No, I didn't miss a minute of this.
So what kind of buckets? What kind of toxic waste buckets would you give to the Toxic Avenger?
Well, so here's what I'm going to say. I thought this was incredibly funny. I thought this is it's a throwback to those B-level movies. As I mentioned, everyone involved knew what they were doing, what the assignment was. It does deserve to be seen by more people. And I wish that people, I've been championing it. I've been telling people, go check it out. As I mentioned, I have read that diehard Troma fans are either on board with this new attempt or just dismissive of it because it's not as gory as the original. Listen, it has unrated right in it, so you would think that you're getting just nothing but.
It's quite gory. I don't think it was lacking anything in gore.
Yeah. Someone on IMDb referred to it as gleefully unhinged, and I'm going to back that. I think it's too early to give this a 5-bucket treatment.
Wow. You were even thinking 5-bucket.
I enjoyed
amazing.
this immensely, and I really wish it was still in the theater because I do want to go back and revisit it and try and catch some of these other little in-jokes. I'm going to go 4.5 buckets.
Wow.
I thought this was fantastic.
This is for an unreleasable quote unquote movie.
Yeah, well, I don't know who that guy was, and he should be ashamed of himself. I think he had nefarious. He was not up and up.
4.5 buckets. Wow.
4.5.
So I enjoyed it not as much as 4.5 buckets. You know, it was one of those. I'm enjoying myself while I'm here. Yeah. I'll probably watch this again, but would I buy this on Blu-ray? I'm not quite sure. You know, I'm not that big of a fan of the first one either. So the gore was a little much for me. You know, it's not like I was looking for more. I was like, they need to tone this down maybe just a little bit. The cornholio scene, I had to close my eyes.
I did not see that going, by the way.
No.
I was like, what the?
So I'm going to go 3.5. So I'll go 1 bucket less than you. I appreciated it for what it was. I loved the back and forth, especially at the end between Bacon and Dinklage. And Dinklage, I think he just the way that he does play it straight, as you said, he just imbues the character with such a aw shucksness that you can't help but like him. Yeah.
So let's talk about the true hero of this movie. Because as you alluded to, Peter Dinklage is not the actor in the costume.
No, which is amazing.
He does not play. Once you see Peter Dinklage turn into this monster, it is no longer Peter Dinklage as the character. He is doing the voiceovers, but he is not in the costume, which to me is a little bit of a cheat. It's kind of like, that's like finding out that Pedro Pascal is no longer the Mandalorian. Like he only shows up, he does the voiceover and he only shows up when he takes his helmet off, which at this point you don't do anyway. So
this was an actress. Let me find her name.
Luisa Guerrero.
Yes. Now, interestingly enough, Dinklage didn't just phone it in. This is
what fascinates me.
Yeah.
So go ahead, explain this, because I found this wild.
Like sort of. in like the Tom Hanks kind of or Andy Serkis kind of way where you're getting motion capture.
Yeah.
Sort of. He filmed the scenes as the Toxic Avenger and all the movements without makeup, without the suit on.
Right. Just
and
himself,
all the movements that he thought the Toxic Avenger should be making. This actress studied these videos, these tapes of Peter Dinklage moving around and mimicked his movement. So in a way, it still is Dinklage's performance.
So think of this, because apparently this is like 30 pounds of latex foam rubber. She's got electronics on her face that are moving the face. She probably has a limited, outside of the mouth, eyebrows, stuff like that. 110 degrees in this thing. And she's running around. So she studies his videos and then she mimics him. And then 6 months later, he comes back and reinterprets the voice based on what she has done based on his movements, re-recorded the audio. So this is this lady, Louisa, playing Peter with Peter's voice playing Louisa. It's a very convoluted choice to make, but for the most part, it's seamless.
And he didn't have to sit in a makeup chair for 4 or 5 hours.
Right. She did. I hope they paid her well. She is, I guess, she's a physical actress anyway. She's played Teletubbies and Oompa Loompas. So she had to say, yeah, fine, I'm in. Let's do it. It's not like they got Warwick Davis to show up.
If I didn't know that, I would have just assumed that it was Peter Dinklage.
Do. Right. Yeah. And it's seamless. Again, I guess if you study the mouth movement after a while, you'd be like, oh, it looks kind of looped. So to me, that is absolutely fascinating.
I'm glad I didn't know that beforehand.
I did. So I was watching it. But I mean, he mutates. So even if she's a foot taller than him, you wouldn't necessarily think different of it. I didn't think she was that well endowed, but apparently she is.
Willem Dafoe is watching this movie. He's like, come on, give me a break. Yeah, that's nothing.
You call that girth. I will tell you at the end, there's two gentlemen arguing at the hospital scene. That is Lloyd Kaufman, the original creator, and the director.
And the director,
Macon Blair. Yeah. And like I said, there's a lot of little references to some of the other, there's a news article where the coach of the local football team is like, we're going to nuke them. It's like, all right, class of nuke them. There you go.
Yeah.
So I gleefully unhinged is where I'm going to lean. I thought it was fun. If you have an opportunity,
I am glad then that we covered it.
I was tickled pink to see this. I could not wait to talk about it. And as I said, I have told everyone and anyone, dude, I just saw the Toxic Avenger, and they're like, the old the new movie, Peter Dinklage. They made a new one? Yeah. Oh, I didn't know about that.
Well, maybe it'll get its audience once it's on streaming.
Yeah, I'm sure the hundreds of thousands of people who listen to this podcast will run right out and
2 more views for you out of it. You're welcome.
Guam.
You're welcome.
If Peter Dinklage is listening, kudos to you. So before we go to New York City 1984 Underground, should we go to the concession stand?
Let's go. Now, you've already done Warheads, so was the obvious choice, I thought, for this.
That was the obvious, but we're going to go a little bit deeper than Warheads, because I found this obscure candy that, we've covered a lot of weird stuff on this show. And this one may be the only one that truly lives up to its name. Ooh. So, extreme sour candies, it seems like they've been around forever. 60s, I think we got lemon heads. 70s were Sour Patch Kids. And as you mentioned, in the 90s, we were given Warheads, which we have discussed. But it wasn't until Candy Dynamics' toxic waste line of sour candies that oozed onto the scene. I will tell you, history seems a little fuzzy on this one. I had a hard time pinpointing an actual date when this product line dropped, but based on the timeline of some of the other information, probably early 2000s, and it was a candy that was produced in Pakistan, Spain, and Brazil. And their tagline, hazardly sour candy. Now, they played up the idea of danger, And they released the candies in little tiny yellow waste drums with the stamped toxic waste on the side.
Is this available in the U.S. or was it ever?
Yes, it is. It was very much so available in the U.S.
Did it bypass standards and practices?
Well, we're going to talk about it because, as I said, it lives up to its name. So it actually has, so it's a little toxic waste drum. The yellow, I think, was the original, and it has like little green ooze coming down the side of it. The candies themselves were hard, sour exterior, a sweet interior filled with similar sour liquid. So it would actually give you like this pucker punch of slime when you got through the hard layer. But apparently this ultra sour treat includes a brutal half-minute of mouth discomfort before the sweet sensation kicks in. So it sounds horrible, and I will tell you, there are YouTube and TikTok challenges out there that you can watch of people trying to shove these into their mouth and see how long they can actually take it.
Oh.
So, yeah.
It doesn't look enjoyable. It's like I would imagine people running around in a circle in the room trying to fan the inside of their mouth. Yeah.
Yeah, I don't think milk is going to do anything. So there was 4 waste containment receptacles that were created. There's a yellow, a purple, a green, and a red. So yellow had, these are the flavors: apple, black cherry, watermelon, lemon, black raspberry. The purple container, blueberry, blackberry, black cherry, and grape. Red was raspberry, cranberry, red pear, strawberry, and red grape. And the green container was kiwi, melon, green apple, and green pear. All super ultra sour. There were other brands that were introduced, items, including smog balls, goop, slime liquors, high voltage bubblegum, short circuit bubblegum, toxic waste gumballs, toxic waste sour candy sprays, and mutant gummy worms. So they were really leaning into this toxic waste idea. But it wasn't until 2007 that they introduced nuclear sludge chew bar, which sounds just horrific. But I guess as a kid, you're like, well, that sounds gross. But this was not as popular with consumers compared to some of the other stuff that they had. Probably for the best, because it wasn't just hazardly sour, it was actually toxic. And that is because in 2011, all flavors of toxic waste nuclear sludge were pulled from stores across the U.S. when California's Department of Public Health found 0.24 parts per million of lead in the candy line's cherry flavor. So it's pretty ironic and horrifying.
Disturbing. So as of now, did they retool it or is it just gone?
So that nuclear sludge bar has been pulled from the shelves, and shortly afterwards, that same year, short circuit bubblegum was also pulled for the exact same reason: elevated levels of lead. So
have there been fatalities?
No, not that I know of. I didn't read any lawsuits. But the Food and Drug Administration allows for upwards of 0.1 lead parts per million in processed and packaging foods. So that right there is alarming enough as it is.
Well, yeah,
there actually is a certain level of lead.
You detect it. That's okay. That's what you can put that out.
That means that the cherry-flavored toxic waste nuclear sludge chew bars registered 24 times more lead than could be considered legally safe. How many kids ate this stuff before
this is like eating paint chips.
Oh, that probably would be cheaper and safer. So this Pakistani, so I guess most of this candy now comes from Pakistan. It is still available, but there's half of those products that I just mentioned before have been pulled from the shelves. They're no longer available in the U.S. But I just found a nuclear sludge, toxic waste branded candy actually turned out to be toxic.
I wonder if they do put a sticker on it that says "Eat at your own risk." We're good.
We're good.
It's your choice to eat this.
Listen, we told you it was hazard.
Yeah.
Yeah. We don't know yet if it actually cures brain cancer, but we'll never know. Right. We'll never know. Don't eat it. They are still out there. Apparently, some of this toxic waste candy line is still available in some of like the old.
Well, if you say they're doing videos of eating it,
right? They're not. You're not going to go into your local Acme or ShopRite and find them in the candy aisle, but I think they're probably still available on Walmart.com and some of these others, and they're still in the little waste containment canisters. So that's about as apt a candy that I can ever pair up.
Wear that like a badge of honor.
Right. But you're right. Warheads would have been the go-to. We still haven't even talked about Sour Patch Kids. I can't believe they've been around since
I think
the 70s.
we did, didn't we?
Did we? I don't know.
I think we did.
I got to look at the list.
I think you might have covered Sour Patch Kids, as a matter of fact.
Yeah. Shows you how much I listen to myself.
CHUD.
CHUD. As we mentioned. Cannibalistic humanoid underground dwellers. Or, what was the other acronym?
We'll get to it. I've got it written somewhere.
Oh, you do have it written.
Yeah.
So Douglas Cheek directed this.
His only directing credit, I believe.
That's good. He probably should not be allowed to direct.
I think he was an editor, and he was a friend. So, okay, I got the backstory of this, the genesis of CHUD from Joe Bob. So I can share this story. Right. That New York downtown theater guys, very hoity-toity, John Hurd and Daniel Stern. These are not horror guys. They, at the time, John Hurd was a very critically acclaimed actor in indie productions. Cutter's Way was a big one that he had done in 81 with Jeff Bridges. So he was on the rise as an indie actor. Daniel Stern, of course, in Diner, in Breaking Away. He had just done Blue Thunder. So he was getting a name for himself as well.
I don't remember him in Blue Thunder. I have not seen that movie in quite some time. Yeah, that's Roy Scheider, right? The helicopter. Roy Scheider.
We got to cover Blue Thunder one day.
1983, same year as Return of the Jedi.
Yeah. But John Hurd and Daniel Stern, they're at a party in New York City, and they're talking to Shep Abbott, who is credited with the story idea. This is a time when New York City is probably in a very dark place.
Ooh, I will tell you. Yeah, I worked 88. I was in Manhattan. Working in Times Square was a cesspool.
It was down and dirty. Yeah, so the conversation goes. Exactly
what this is. Yeah.
The conversation goes to, well, who knows what's down there beneath us?
Sure, alligators.
And so the idea came from that, and it was Shep Abbott who came up with the basic story, came up with the word CHUD at the party with no idea what it was going to stand for.
Right then and there. Oh, I bet you there's CHUDs under there. CHUD. What the hell's a CHUD? I don't know.
This is not a favorite of Joe Bob, this movie, because he says that it feels like it's these New York theater guys slumming in the horror genre without the proper respect for the horror genre.
Oh, so because he's leaning into the history of it. He's not just watching on its surface. I just looked at it going, that's the Wet Bandit and Kevin's dad. Yeah. It's the Home Alone reunion.
And he looks, Daniel Stern in this, who's playing the Reverend.
He is unhinged.
Who's not a reverend per se.
No,
that's just what the homeless call him.
Title. Yeah.
He's a friend of the homeless who feed them. I guess it's all volunteer work, but he looks like the Wet Bandit in this movie. So
he's not too far. Well, that was 87 Home Alone.
No, 90. Oh,
90
Home Alone.
90.
6 years later.
Yeah.
But this begins, so CHUD, classic 80s movie. It's got this sub-Terminator synthesizer score going on.
Yeah. Yeah, this is a cult classic. This is cult written all over it. And I probably watched this once on VHS back in the mid 80s.
Seen it several times, especially the scene with the shower scene and the scene with the CHUD trying to get into the apartment.
I didn't quite understand the shower scene.
It makes no sense.
Okay. Good. I'm okay. I thought maybe I missed something. There's a lot that's missing from this movie.
The movie opens with just a random lady walking her dog in the middle of the worst neighborhood in New York City that you can think of.
A dog's got to poop, man.
Yeah.
And a dog's got to go. A dog's got to go.
In the middle of the night, she's walking the dog down the middle of a New York street. Manhole slowly opens up, and she gets nabbed. And so does the dog.
Yeah. Which usually doesn't make any sense, because we do find a dog later. I'm like, why wouldn't they eat that first?
Yeah. There's a pointed scene where they show the lady's shoe that's left behind gets swept up with the street sweeper with all the rest of the garbage.
I thought that was Cinderella.
Yes. Then we're introduced to John Hurd.
Who's a fashion photographer.
Who plays
he wears the worst clothes, but he's a fashion photographer.
Who looks like a schlub, throughout.
He does look like a schlub,
movie.
And he's a complete and utter a-hole. This guy's a moron. I don't like it from the get-go.
He's the boyfriend of a fashion model whom he takes pictures of. So, but he's also working on a newspaper article with a reporter about homeless people. So this is why he knows all the homeless around his neighborhood.
Yeah. He does seem like he's above it. Like he wouldn't be even talking to these homeless people.
Yeah.
Yeah. But no, he's pretty buddy with them. He's very concerned about them.
After we get introduced to John Hurd's character of George, the police, we find out, are having issues with missing persons.
Yeah, we got APBs all over the place.
Now, we're introduced to the character of Captain Bosch, whose superior tells him to keep quiet on the missing persons. Now, we don't know this right away, but it's Bosch's wife. That's the woman at the beginning of the movie that gets taken with a dog. Yeah, you don't find that out
until later. Yeah.
So he doesn't seem broken up or anything by this.
Not
or
even
worried.
Dog. I think he was happy about the dog.
I think he was happy about the wife, actually.
Yeah. It was like later in the movie you find this out and you're like, right, wait, why wouldn't this guy like?
Why wouldn't he say something to somebody?
Not only that, you're talking about telling everyone else to shut up about these APBs. Your wife's one of them. Oh, she ain't come home for 3 days. I don't know where she is.
It's not the missing wife that makes him want to investigate. It's because the captain tells him not to pursue it. He's like, well, if he tells me not to pursue it, I'm going to investigate it.
I'm going to have to find out what's going on. Yeah, exactly what every investigator does.
And at the same time, a homeless woman has been arrested for trying to steal the gun off of a police officer.
This is death by police.
Yeah.
You don't try to steal the policeman's gun unless you're looking to get shot.
And we find out later that she was doing this to try to protect herself from the chuds, to get a gun.
She wants to go down to give it to her buddy down in the bowels of New York City.
Yeah.
Was this Billy Hayes, by the way? Because she looks very witchy-poo-ish.
This woman, and this was more evidence from Joe Bob as to this was people slumming in horror. This woman was Norman Mailer's wife, the TV producer.
Kidding me?
No.
Wow. But it wasn't. But this is not like a high profile movie. This is not like, I mean, nobody knows who this director is. It's not.
No, the director was a friend of Daniel Stern and John Hurd, and they sold the idea of the movie, and they said, we are only going to be in this movie if all of our friends can work on it. So hence, this guy became the director, and he never directed anything again.
I think Joe Bob's got issues.
Yeah.
He just is not happy that he was not invited to be a part of this group.
So Daniel Stern comes into the picture as the Reverend, and he's the guy that feeds the homeless at a soup kitchen. And he's been noticing that his clients, not like they're paying him.
Well, you would think he'd be happy that you have less people to feed.
Yeah, his clients have gone missing. The underground people, the people that live under the streets, have all stopped coming to the soup kitchen.
I did want to learn a little bit more about these people who actually live under the streets, not the chuds themselves. Although, are we getting the impression, based on the way that this plays out, that these people are turning into the chuds?
Yes.
Because that one guy.
These aren't just
not mutants that showed up.
Exactly. They're homeless people turning into mutants.
Because of toxic sludge.
Because of the waste that they're dumping under the streets. Yeah.
Was Kevin Bacon informed of this?
I think this might have been a great idea for his company, BTH. John Hurd, George. He knows this woman because, as I said before, he was doing an article on homeless people.
Yeah.
I've got something good to show you if you come with me down underneath. So she brings him down to the underground to meet Victor, who's her brother, who has been attacked by a chud.
Right.
I think he just says a monster bit him.
Yeah. It's just a flesh wound, by the way.
And he's got a chunk, like
giant
a shark
bite taken out.
It's
like a land shark just took this guy. I will tell you, earlier there was a lady. She was walking the streets and back in the day when these storefronts would just dump all their garbage onto the streets, and it was just a giant pile of boxes, and it starts moving.
Yeah.
That's when you cross the street. You do not look underneath the boxes to see what is making that. You just, none of my business.
Yeah. If it's human, that's the best scenario. If it's human.
If it's human. But George, who's in the middle of a photo shoot, gets up and leaves, right?
Because he's disgusted by the commerciality of it all.
Well, maybe they'll be a fashion photographer.
Yeah.
I don't, you got a conflict of interest going on here, buddy. They're paying you.
He's set. He's got a nice little apartment there in the middle of a terrible neighborhood.
His model wife, who he leaves there, is happy to see him come home and announces that she's pregnant. Well, you're not getting any more modeling gigs, first of all. Second of all, I think George just got fired forever. Yeah, this guy's not trustworthy. He walked away. We couldn't even finish the photo shoot. We lost thousands of dollars that day. It didn't make any sense to me.
Speaking of not making any sense, this is when Bosch starts to interview Daniel Stern's Reverend character. And he comes back to him a couple of times at the beginning of the movie. And then Stern says, why are you so concerned about this, Bosch? This is like a drinking game. Every time somebody says Bosch, you should take a drink. And then Bosch is like, well, we've had some quote unquote normal people disappear as well. And this is when you
quote unquote normal people.
And this is when you find out that it was Bosch's wife that was at the beginning.
Yeah. Is this where he tells him I used to be a nuclear scientist? He's like, really? Nah, I saw it on TV.
But Stern also tells him that he's been seeing guys come around in Environmental Protection Agency suits, come in and out of the underground. And Stern's character has found underground like a fully active and working Geiger counter that somebody just left there.
Right.
Somebody's boot from their suit.
Yeah, that was kind of weird. There's not even a foot in it, just a boot.
So they didn't have blood on it, so it was just like they stepped in mud and it just came off.
It just came off.
Yeah.
Hey, Bob, you left your shoe back there. Yeah, I'll get it.
So also, not only the EPA is involved in this, the Nuclear Regulatory Commission is
now
involved.
You got a Geiger counter. You got some.
Yeah. I'm not sure who the toxic waste belongs to. If it's like all of theirs, I don't know.
Yeah, I don't know, but
you never find
you never really find out who the culprit is. Just the fact that this stuff is down there.
Yeah.
And we're going to cover it up.
And so once they find the Geiger counter, they turn it on and it's going off the charts. Something roars, which they don't see.
I think that was the witchy poo old lady.
Then we get the scene with the grandfather and the granddaughter.
First, I thought that this was her dad, and I'm like, dude, how old is this guy?
Yeah.
No, in the phone booth.
In the phone booth on the same street, I think, that the woman with the dog got.
There's no reason for these chuds to come above ground and exert that much energy.
But they do anyway.
Yeah. No, they'll go right up to the second floor of your apartment, apparently. Did he take the elevator? Like,
they're lost. The grandfather and the little girl are
again,
lost.
like you said, it's like 2 a.m. in the worst part of town, and he's just wandering the streets with his granddaughter. What?
He goes into a phone booth to call whoever, maybe his son. Like, yeah, we got off the train, and I guess I took the wrong turn, and I don't know where we are now. And then the chud comes out, grabs him, but leaves the little girl in the phone booth, who is now comatose.
Which makes sense. I mean, I guess if they left the dog, they'd leave the little. It's probably not even worth your time eating a little girl. I'm assuming they're eating them.
So now Bosch, whatever, his morality wakes up. He tells the chief that he's going to bring this to the authorities. He's the authorities.
Correct, right? He's actually the police chief. He's like, I'm going to tell somebody.
Yeah.
I'm going to the press.
The NRC guy, like the head NRC guy.
Wilson. Was that Wilson? Was that
like, is he really NRC or was he working for some other shadow pharmaceutical guy? I don't know who he was.
No, you never quite understand if he's... I don't think he ever showed his credentials, so he may have been lying about that.
And at one point, as John Hurd and Daniel Stern don't really meet until towards the end of the movie. So they almost do a Home Alone where they never interact in this movie either. So right around here is when we get the John Goodman cameo.
John Goodman as a police officer. Yucking it up at the bar.
And his partner is Jay Thomas, who's also a well-known actor, not as well-known as John Goodman, but these are two faces that you'll see later on in many films and TV shows. You don't even see them. They go into one of these little old-fashioned diners, and chuds surround the diner and kill everybody inside, which you don't see. It happens off camera.
Yeah, that's kind of weird.
Yeah.
I think they were just there for the Blue Plate special. World's best coffee. You did it. But this is right. So they find a dead body on the waterfront, realize that it's his wife.
All they find is her head. Yeah. So how did the chuds get it to the waterfront? And why?
It might have floated up out of the drainage.
And at one point, Daniel Stern is being followed by one of the shady government guys. So Daniel Stern goes to call the press on a
the guy in the
payphone.
Izod shirt.
The guy grabs his dime and swallows it. I'm like, what's your point of doing that? That you're a badass?
Or an
idiot?
You gotta wait for that to pass.
Diverticulitis, man.
20 years later, this poor guy's sitting in his proctology department going, I don't know what happened, Doc. And he goes, it's the last time you ate a dime.
They're going to divert the gas lines into the sewer system. Just in this neighborhood, you're going to blow up New York. No, just a little section of Soho, not all of New York.
Yeah. But we're 3/4 of the way through this movie, and you've only seen these creatures twice in little snippets.
Interestingly enough, I guess the effects budget was slashed. So the effects guy only had time to make, before he ran out of money, chud hands and chud heads.
Well, that makes sense then. That you only see the head and the hands.
That's all you ever see are the head and the hands.
Yeah, that's fine.
Yeah.
Whatever. I heard there was another movie that the shark wouldn't work, so.
Even if you just have head and hands, that's enough to just to put like a big baggy clothes on somebody. You know?
Well,
and you don't have to see the rest of it.
Because they're mutants, we're being told that they are these homeless people, so they could be wearing people clothes.
Yeah.
Be completely naked, whatever. We don't see enough of them. Like I said, the shower scene, and then it chases her into her apartment. And I'm like, why would he even exert? Why is he going after her?
At the same time, Daniel Stern gets blocked underground before they blow it up because they don't want him squawking to the press.
Yeah.
So, and then we didn't talk about the shower that you had mentioned before. At one point, the girl is in the shower, the girlfriend, and blood just explodes
out of the drain.
I'm like, how does that work?
It doesn't make any sense.
Yeah.
It makes no sense. Again, she's on the second floor, but she's got like a basement storage area that has a crawl space that goes underground. And at one point that was like someone was banging on that, and she's like, well, I ain't gonna answer that. And walks away. Let me go take a shower. Okay.
And when the chud comes after her, like she, tries to barricade the door, it doesn't work. The chud comes through. It starts to elongate its neck, like in John Carpenter's The Thing.
What was up with that?
So
that was really bizarre.
It was just like a plot device so she could cut its head off because she had a sword.
He loves the swashbuckle. Like, why would he just have this Errol Flynn style?
Or maybe sword? He's an immortal. There can be only one.
He was a Highlander. Damn it. Chudlander.
If you remember Alligator, when we covered Alligator.
Yes, sure. A fun movie. A better movie than this.
So it's a similar ending in Alligator. They're going to blow up the alligator, but with dynamite and not with gas.
Didn't we also park a car over there?
Yeah, the heroes can't get out of the manhole cover because somebody parked on top of them. In this case, it's one of the government vehicles, but they get it moved, and William Hurt and Daniel Stern get out, and then the van blows up. And I'm thinking, well, that's a very sequestered explosion for a gas leak.
Yeah, it was very.
So we assume that the chuds have been blown up in this explosion. We don't know. We're not told.
No, because you never see anything again. That's it.
No creature destruction or additional mayhem.
Nothing.
And poor Bosch gets shot by one of the bad guys as
Wilson shoots him.
Wilson shoots him.
And then AJ shoots Wilson.
So you think that Bosch is dead. And then he says after the van blows up, like, nice shot. Is he dying or is he going to live? Because, he's just lying there. And that's the end of the movie.
I heard Toxic Avenger comes in and gives him a blood transfusion. Yeah, after watching Toxic Avenger, I was really fired up to watch this. Especially because it has this cult status level of like chud. And it's like, this is very much of a letdown. It is very it's B-grade trash.
This was built up much better in my memory than it was in actually watching it. Because maybe I was starved for entertainment back then. I don't know. But I did like this when I was 13, 14 years old.
I think when you're 13, 14, you take any of these type of movies.
There is so much exposition in this and so little chud that I'm like, how could I watch this as a kid?
It's almost chudless.
Yeah. What chud actually stands for is Contamination Hazard Urban Disposal.
Yeah.
And that's what they're trying to hide. They're trying to say that it's cannibalistic humanoid underground dwellers. That sounds worse than Contamination Hazard Urban Disposal.
Well, they're underground dwellers because of the Contamination Hazard Urban Disposal.
So that's the big reveal is that they've been putting these down here on purpose to get rid of their toxic waste.
What's chud mean? What's the chud mean? Yeah, there's no payoff in this whatsoever.
No.
Even when you find out that her baby's mutated or something at the end, nothing. And I think there was a sequel.
It's called, I've never seen it. It's called Bud the Chud.
Are you kidding me?
No.
No way.
Chud 2, Bud the Chud. It's considered one of the worst movies ever made.
Even worse than the original.
Yes. Oh, the original. In terms of fan circles, the original is like Citizen Kane compared to Bud the Chud.
So is Bud the Chud? So is it an actual Chud character?
I've never seen it.
Bud?
I assume
Bud the Chud. Oh, he sounds like a Budweiser spokesman. Chud, dude.
Most reviewers were left cold by Chud, unsurprisingly. Perfect for bleary-eyed night viewing and pretty much unwatchable at any other hour, was the AV Club. Time Out New York included it on their list of the best New York set films, calling it more funny than scary. Bloody Disgusting rates it 4.5 out of 5.
Wow.
Called it definitely one of B-Movie's best kept secrets. So over time, at the time, it was very negatively reviewed.
Right.
But retrospective reviews seem to hold it in very high regard. The budget was $1.25 million. It made $4.7 million worldwide.
No wonder why
limited release. It made that. So it did kind of well. It was released in August of 1984, same month as Purple Rain. So to give you some context. Distributed by New World Pictures, Roger Corman's company, even though they didn't produce it.
He's like, just keep my name off this one.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't want anything to do with it.
Jordan Peele is a fan because a video copy of Chud appears in the opening sequence of Us.
Oh. The name has a cachet to it.
It does.
Like I said, when it was like, all right, this is cult classic status. This is right up there with the Toxic Avenger, the original.
It was released on video the same year it was released in the theater, just a little bit later in 1984. So that's where it really found its footing and its audience on video and, of course, cable.
Again, this is just like Toxic. This is, $9.55. You're running around your local video store.
Yeah.
Oh, we got nothing to rent. All right, let's get Chud. Fine.
2011. The Criterion Collection announced a special edition of Chud.
Did they?
And
was
they
it
did.
A joke?
It was. They announced this on April 1st.
That's horrible.
They announced it on April 1st. So
I'd be pissed if I'm a fan of this. I would be tickled pink. All right, someone's showing us some love, and then they're like, "Yeah, we're kidding."
It eventually did. Some other company did eventually put it out on Blu-ray a few years ago.
Well, I will say I watched it on. Is it on Tubi? We watched it on Tubi.
Tubi, yes.
Yeah, it looks like you're watching it on a VHS tape.
Yeah.
Yeah, but
which is maybe what fitting.
You need. But you're right. It goes nowhere. I want to see these creatures.
Yeah.
If you're telling me, you're literally showing me these creatures. They're not going to stay below ground. They're coming up. But why? We have no idea.
And there's one scene in here where I don't know if you caught this, but John Hurd is listening to his answering machine messages over the phone.
Yes.
He holds up a black box to the little black box to the phone.
That's really old school.
What that did was emit like a tone the answering machine recognized.
Yeah.
And then played back his messages. I'm like, imagine you have to carry this thing around with you.
It's like a beeper. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, I guess when you're a high-end fashion photographer, you gotta check your answer machine every minute.
Of course, this was covered in Fangoria at the time when it was released. Producer Andrew Bonamy. That is a terrible name. That is Bonamy. Hopefully he doesn't pronounce it Bonamy. Bonamy? In Fangoria. He was quoted, "This is an expensive-looking film and an expensive concept. It is a high-quality kind of picture." Optimistic man. Optimistic man.
That's some hyperbole right there. Was he on the dole? Was he like, I'll give you guys a good review. He was friends with Marv the Wet Bandit and Kevin's dad.
The most fascinating bit of information I gleaned from Joe Bob, and I do remember there being nudity in this. The shower scene over time, for whatever reason, was edited to take out the nudity.
No boobies, huh?
No boobies. Now, the actress, Kim Greist, wasn't even her. It was a body double that did the scene.
Who got paid to actually be nude.
But for whatever reason, over the years, it has been edited out of the version that you can see now.
Maybe if Criterion actually releases it, they'll put that scene back in.
Yeah, I wonder if that's upped the value of the VHS tape on eBay.
Oh, maybe just like that scene in Return of the Jedi where Ula's boob pops out right before she falls into the Rancor pit. You can only see that on the original Fox VHS release. One frame.
And everything was shot on location. They were actually under New York City for these scenes.
They probably didn't even get permits. They're probably just guerrilla filming this.
Yeah.
Yeah. No, that's sad that is what New York looked like in the mid 80s. Yeah. I mean, Times Square was just
it makes you feel like you need a shower after watching this.
No, then the blood comes up. She had to take another shower after that. It's like, I just showered. Like, now I got to chuds. Stupid chuds. This was such a letdown.
What would you give it?
I don't care what that guy said.
How many barrels?
I'm giving it 2 1/4.
2 1/4?
Toxic barrels.
For the nostalgic, I'll give it 2 3/4 barrels.
It wasn't even nostalgic for me.
No.
Not like I watched this as a kid going, oh man, look at that.
And it's surprising though, slumming as they may be, that you do have actors the quality of Daniel Stern and John Hurd in this movie.
Yeah. And I was tickled to see John Goodman show up because this had to have been one of his very first movies.
He's just a schlub in the movie, just
yucking it up at the bar.
Yeah.
Yeah, soon to be. He was a full meal, by the way.
Oh, he was.
Those chuds ate him. They were like, "Can I take a to-go bag?" Because I'm not going to finish this here. He was a good man.
Because if you do think about it, I don't think you ever see the full body, even in clothes. I think you only ever see heads in the window.
The closest you get is when it enters the door of her apartment.
Okay.
But again, I'd have to go back and look at it now. But you're right. It could just be a black trash bag.
Or it could be just my memory, just filling in the blanks there.
Yeah. Yeah, thinking it was more than it really was. Oh, well, listen, if you love this movie, more power to you.
Yes.
Yeah, I think it probably has, like you said, the nostalgia factor more than anything. If you've never seen this and you watch it, you'd be like, oh, this is...
But even if you do love it, you've got to concede that it's not the greatest. Technically, not the greatest movie.
Humanoids from the Deep over this.
Yeah.
And that's got some grisly kills, too.
So we have debunked. We've debunked chud.
Yeah, chud.
In the history of the world, the word debunk has only ever been used in the X-Files. I can't remember ever hearing that otherwise.
I'm still watching. I am just loving watching the X-Files. Such a throwback. Jordan Peele rebooting that, by the way.
Rebooting chud?
No, X-Files.
Oh. So what else? What else did you do? I would love to talk Alien Earth, but I think we want to cover that.
I think we're gonna wait until all the episodes have dropped, which I think we looked it up last night. Last episode will drop September 23rd.
Because this most recent episode, have you seen it?
No, I'm going to tell you right now, I've not made it past the first episode.
Oh,
I think I'm just going to sit back.
Oh, that's good. That's good. Then.
Yeah. Because what happens? Well. Not that you care one way or another, but we are now officially back into NFL football season.
I see.
So my Thursdays, my Mondays, and my Saturdays, or my Sundays and Mondays are suddenly going to be very filled with football.
Because I'm jealous, actually, that you're waiting to watch it all, because that'll be a good watch all the way through.
Because they're almost like a solid hour, right?
Yeah, and this latest one was like a mini movie. I think it was like an hour and 20 or an hour and 10 or something.
Okay. I'm trying to stay away from any spoilers. So I want to I'm just going to go in. I'm going to wait. Hopefully they don't start pulling those episodes because I hate some of these streaming services that do that.
Yeah. Disney, I don't think you're running that risk with Disney and Hulu and stuff like that. But if you're looking at FX and other things, yeah, you only have a limited window before you can watch the new episode, and then it's gone.
Yeah. So I'm going to tell you, I found this movie last night on Peacock. It is a Norwegian film based on a Norway folktale. It is called The Ash Lad in the Hall of the Mountain King. This movie came out in 2017. And basically, so I will tell you this, it is glorious to look at. The cinematography and the a lot of it's filmed on location, so it's gorgeous to look at. But it's like this ne'er-do-well loser kid, Espen, And he runs into a princess who's trying to escape her impending marriage to this creepy prince who looks like a very young Lord Farquaad. And he has to employ his two brothers to go help him retrieve. They want to basically, she has a reward out. There's a reward out for her. So he wants to find her and bring her back and get the reward to save his family's farm, which he accidentally burned down. But there's a story that if she is not wed by her 18th birthday, then the Mountain King will come and take her. And she says, well, that's hooey. And so she runs away. And apparently it is true. So we get lots of trolls. There's lots of witches. There's goblins that run around in the woods and attack these people. And some of those, it reminded me a lot of like Troll Hunters with some of the action sequences.
Yeah.
But apparently don't mention unicorns because a horse running around with a horse is ludicrous, according to these characters. So, but as I said, it's a mix of like Arthurian legend and Wizard of Oz and the Odyssey. But what I found funny is in the translation of Ashlad, which is used as a demeaning, his dad refers to him as Ashlad, and that becomes his name. It actually means fart boy. So I'm like, okay. And there is a sequel that came out in 2019, but it was fun. I enjoyed it. Lighthearted little fairy tale fantasy. Like I say, goblins and whatnot running around.
I watched a couple of extra movies on Shudder this week because at the first of the month, they always like drop a glut of new movies on Shudder. So this month they dropped 2 Tales from the Crypt full-length movies that I had never seen before.
What?
Nor was even aware that they came out with full-length movies. Mid-90s.
Are they just episodes?
No, they actually, I looked them both up afterwards, and they were actually movies produced, and one of them was a hit.
You get the Crypt Keeper?
You get the Crypt Keeper. Yep, the Crypt Keeper. In both of them, he goes Hollywood. So the opening and the closing scenes are him like as a director and sunglasses.
Oh, he's got the little hat and sunglasses and his scarf, complete with scarf.
The first one is called Demon Knight, and it's got Billy Zane, the bad guy from the Titanic, and the Phantom. And no, not the Phantom.
Yeah.
Was it the Phantom or is that Alec Baldwin as the Phantom?
No.
The Shadow.
The Shadow is Alec Baldwin.
Yeah, Billy Zane was the Phantom.
Billy Zane is also one of Biff's buddies in Back to the Future.
Got it.
Yes, but you're right. He is the a-hole in Titanic.
So he's a bad guy in this, and he plays a demon who is after this, the only can be described as like an immortal who is holding on to this religious relic over centuries. And Billy Zane needs to get this relic in order to have like the demons take over the world. And so it's kind of like a Night of the Living Dead where this guy like has some human friends. Jada Pinkett Smith is in it. They all hole up in this like building, and all the demons assault the building, like in Night of the Living Dead.
These movies?
This movie, the first one was from 1995.
Oh wow! Jada Pinkett Smith was in that.
Yeah.
Wow.
And the second Tales from the Crypt movie is called Bordello of Blood.
Oh, I do remember that one.
And that one has Dennis Miller and Angie Everhart. She's a supermodel. That one is not as good as the first one.
Bordello of Blood.
Yeah, Bordello of Blood.
Oh, don't tell me he goes gringo. He wearing a Mexican. I'm talking about the Crypt Keeper.
Oh, the Crypt Keeper? No, he was still in Hollywood mode. He was still in Hollywood mode
because
at the beginning
they
of this.
Theatrical releases.
Yeah, but it was very much like From Dusk Till Dawn, the story, but it wasn't as good. And apparently Dennis Miller phoned in his performance, and you can
Hey,
tell.
Cat, I'm going to phone this in. It's the worst Dennis Miller impersonation ever. I can remember.
I don't know why they thought it was
Dennis Miller.
But like as a lead in like an action type movie, no.
Yeah, somebody gave him bad. Can we cover From Dusk Till Dawn at some point?
Oh yeah, I'd love to.
I love that Selma Hayek dance up front with the snake. All right, Tales from the Crypt, huh?
Yeah,
1 and 2. Interesting.
So what are we doing next time?
Wow, I can't believe we're actually going to do this. We are skipping the long walk. We're telling Stephen King to go take a walk, but we are going to go cover another Stephen King movie. Probably something more enjoyable, at least a little more lighthearted than what this long walk looks like.
For us, maybe not so much for him. This was his directorial debut.
This is first and only?
His first and only.
Yeah.
At the time, this was so promising because you're like, yeah, Stephen King is going to do his own movie. It's going to be so Stephen King.
Yeah. Yeah, well, he also does his own editing now, too. So that's why your books are 800 pages. He needs to come up with better names for his titles of his stories in his book, though. Truck.
But the Trucks, plural.
Oh, Trucks. This sounds like a sequel to Cars.
Yeah, it's based on a short story in his Night Shift collection. So we are pulling out the old...
book club.
The book club.
We are going book club. We're actually reading words on a page.
We are.
And comparing it to the movie.
So we are going to read Trucks and then watch Maximum Overdrive and talk about how they relate to each other.
I'm assuming that you saw this in the theater.
I did.
Yes, so did I. Yeah.
Yep.
Yeardley Smith, probably before she was actually Lisa Simpson.
Emilio Estevez.
Oh, he was at the height of his career then. Breakfast Club. What year is this Maximum Overdrive? I'm going to get
86.
86. I was going to say 88. 86.
Well, yeah. He was peaking there with Breakfast Club. That was the year before. The year before. I think the biggest character in Maximum Overdrive is the truck with the Green Goblin on it.
Yeah, I can't wait to read about this because obviously they had to get license rights from Marvel. Yes? No?
And again, as a comic book fan... This was the closest we had at the time to Marvel in a movie.
It's true. Speaking of Norman Osborn himself,
that was a big selling point. That was a big selling point of this movie.
That's right there on the movie poster.
Yeah.
That's it, front and center.
So yeah, that'll be next time. The book club edition of Maximum Overdrive.
Now, this is just part of the Night Shift novel.
Yeah, there's
short story?
Multiple short stories in Night Shifts. They're not connected. It's just random short stories.
This is not where the body comes from, does it?
No, that's another collection of stories.
Okay.
It's not in Night Shift.
Okay.
But there's other movies. I think Graveyard Shift, which was a movie, is from Night Shift.
Okay.
There might be one or two others. There's a lot of Stephen King short stories out there, so there's more than one collection. But this is his first Night Shift.
I got meteorite all over
Children of the
me.
Corn is a Night Shift. I forgot about that one.
Is that really?
That's a short story.
I'm not reading that. You're not getting me. Oh, I did see when I was flipping through one. I think it was Peacock or whatever, and that damn clown in the cornfield.
Yes.
And I just saw the graphic. I'm like, yeah, I'm not watching. I want to delete that. Can I just delete that so I never see it show up on my TV again? So this is fun. We're going back book club.
Yeah, we are.
All right, I'm in.
So until next time.
Yes. Thank you very much for listening. And let's go see if you can't find yourself this Toxic Avenger movie. Definitely worth seeing with a crowd. I wish I had more people.
Or if you can't, just see it. Well, I'm sure it'll be on streaming very soon. So watch.
I would like to think that they would continue this promotion where they're supporting this medical debt relief
into its streaming release.
Yeah, sure. So. I think I wish more movies would do stuff like that. Mm-hmm. These greedy studios just taking all that money for themselves. I like it. Let's make it a cause. Until next time, don't eat any toxic sludge. That was fun. Shut it up, my friend. All right. See you next time.
Bye.
Bye.
If you like what you just heard, be sure to follow TMI Confessionals of the Nerd Kind on Apple Podcasts, iHeartRadio, Amazon Music, Spotify, or whatever you listen to your podcasts on. Also, be sure to email us at tmipodcast2018@gmail.com.
You can also follow us on all of our socials. We're on Instagram, X, Facebook, Threads. Just go to tmiconfessionalspodcast.com. All of our links are there. And leave us a 5-star review. See you at the concession stand. Get the chud out of here. But the chud. I have to go see that.
Willem Dafoe is watching this movie. He's like, come on, give me a break.
Yeah,
that's nothing.
You call that girth.